Hey everybody, it's Rob from Flailthroughs. This is Gundam Battle Operation 2, and we are continuing our look at peasant suits on the Buffs We'd Like to See series. We are starting out this week with the Galbaldi Alpha, which of course is kind of a successor to both the Gelgoog and Gan, a combination of those technologies. And in game terms, it's interesting, and it's definitely, to be honest, it's always kind of been a little bit of a hard time to use, just because its skill set is very kind of specific. It has what is supposed to be an improved version of the Gelgoog beam rifle. It, as you can see, like 95% heat, and yeah, and it is incredibly easy to overheat. The only other ranged weapon is a Sturmfaust with really slow ready up and really slow reload. But the thing that it has going for it is that its downswing is ridiculously fast with very little in the way of tells. You can really surprise people with this very easily, and it does a decent amount of damage. So it's that there's that, but just as always with any melee focused suit, that's 3851 on that tank with no parts. Not bad. As with any melee focused suit, the trick is getting in with it, and that's a little bit tricky with this tool set. If you miss either of those stuns, you're going to have a problem. But Salty, what do you think?
With the Galbaldi Alpha, very solid suit, kinda. It's got a all right toolkit. The problem is the main beam rifle on it, the instant stunning one, the one Rob's running right now. It's just obnoxiously bad, and there's no point to taking it over the Gelgoog rifle. I would even say that Axaku machine gun, the thing I'm running right now, is superior in pretty much every single way because you got high DPS, very low spread, decent range. The reload could be adjusted for the Axaku machine gun. 6 seconds is kind of obnoxious for it, and maybe give it better ADL. For the beam rifle, I would like to see the heat rate down to 80%, honestly. And keep the damage low. It's at 550. It's not even breaking 2,000 damage. It's just there for a stun. That's all it is. And give it like a two burst firing mode like the F90?
Yeah.
General types beam rifle. Just so you could sit back, stun, pew pew, pew pew, pew pew, reload, or I guess overheat, because that's not a reloadable machine gun. The Sturmfaust, that is an insanely long ready up time. I would cut that in half and then make it a 5 second reload, or at least an 8 second reload. It's a single shot rocket. There's no reason why it needs to be that long. Perk wise, give it maneuver armor starting at 400. At 400 level 1 maneuver armor, level 2 it should bump up to level 2, and then at level 4, which is my cost, it should have level 3 maneuver armor. And for another perk, level 3 should have oh my brain, pursuit melee assist. So when I downswing somebody with this really awesome downswing that it has, and follow up with another downswing, my melee damage goes insane.
Yeah. I'm going to test something here to refresh my memory while you keep talking. So.
Uh, but yeah, like the Galbaldi Alpha, it's not bad. I just did a match in it where I went 9-2, 140,000 damage.
Really great match.
And yeah, I don't even know what my perk set or weapon or equipment setup was, because I just jumped into the suit. I just said, screw it, I'm gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know what my equipment setup on that suit was, but for the suit, it's not bad. The initial stats, besides its kinetic defense, it's solid. I would honestly make it maybe 5 more points faster, because I think the native running speed is 130. The GAN is 140 off the rip. So I would like this to be just 5 points faster. So 135. So if you put the cruise control part on it, you get it up to the same speed as the GAN. Um, which don't worry, folks, we're going to talk about the GAN some later date.
Mm,
But yeah, what do you think, Rob?
I think I think we're on the right track here. A couple things we also talked about is it's we kind of want it to have more skills that make it the hybrid of Gelgug and Gan that it is, on a technical level. And one thing I discovered, I had forgotten that apparently the early production Gelgug got the double tackle skill at some point, and I actually have not run it in long enough. I did not know that. It's something I've been trying to kind of ease back on because I've run it so much. But yeah, they did that. So I feel like that would be good. That would give, especially with Pursuit Melee, that would give the Galbaldy a good chance to extend its combo. As you saw when I was testing things there, it is actually fast enough that it can downswing without boost canceling and get another downswing in on somebody before they can get up. So being able to get a little extra damage in there with a tackle with that would be very nice. We talked about upping Forced Injector to Forced Injector 2, I think would be appropriate, since it is definitely using some variation of the Xeon High Mobility backpack here. Also, I was thinking about it there. If we went with that, there is a skill, I believe, that doesn't get used that often, that actually increases your boost speed after a Forced Injector boost. I had forgotten that existed until we were talking just now, and yeah, I don't think that would be a bad choice for the Galbaldy either. But yeah, I definitely the rifle and the Sturmfaust do need some rehabilitation here, because if basically it has a one combo to get in with, which is Sturmfaust into rifle, into downswing, and that is pretty much the most damage you can get out of it. And if you miss any step of that, you're going to have to improvise pretty hard.
Yeah, that's the exact reason why I ran the machine gun. It's because you can keep your DPS up.
Mm-hmm.
You got your Sturmfaust, which I did miss quite a few times in that match. But you fire the Sturmfaust and then you just keep peppering somebody for just massive damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like another idea is to make the Axaku machine gun into a sub weapon for this suit, just like the Peasant Doge.
Yeah.
Because it is one of the suits that there's no lore on it. There's no other ideas for it. There's nothing that states it can run a grenade or it can run any other weapons but the Axaku machine gun and its rifle or the Gelgug rifle. It's always just it can run its base weapon. Technically, the Gan saber doesn't technically have its own saber. A shield and a Sturmfaust.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing states it can't just have the Axaku as a sub weapon and the beam rifle. So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, and we are following up with the Gatsha, which is another peasant suit. It was more or less based off the amphibious frame, but designed for, according to the in-game explanation, it was designed for low gravity combat, like on the moon, which of course has no bearing on GBO2 at the moment. I'd like to see that, but that's another story. In-game, it's got missiles that you can fire while boosting, which is not the worst thing. It has a hammer gun with an incredibly long ready up and reload time, but does heavy stagger when you hit with it, and hits relatively hard at that, especially for something that starts at 350. Has decent melee. Has, I think, pretty sure it's the Zgok melee pattern, including that big linear claw lunge, which is really hard to hit anything on the ground with on level ground. Like, unless you're fighting like Rickdom or something, don't even. It's something fairly bulky. But yeah, it's another one that is definitely showing its age, and yeah, it could use some help. What do you think, Salty?
Little thing. Use your hammer gun and scope in with it and tell me how you like that view. Isn't that cool?
Yes, it is.
I think this is the only weapon in game that actually shows your weapon while you're scoped in.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, and you see it launch too when you fire it. It's really cool. It's one of the coolest tricks I know about this game is the hammer gun scope in trick.
Nice.
So like we were talking before loading into the match, and you can go several ways with this. This is actually one of the slower peasant suits, oddly enough. Even though in its description it's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to keep up with Rickdoms and stuff. It's got a decent boost speed, but its running speed is only 115, so you're on par with support types. Its hammer gun it's got a 15-second reload time on something that's only a heavy stagger. That's insane. And the range it says 150 meters. The way it works is that it works on a trajectory. I'm mispronouncing that. I already know. Rob, catch me for that.
Trajectory.
Yeah, there we go. So you can arc the hammer up to get way more range than what it says.
Interesting.
So you gotta practice that. You can hit things almost 500 meters out with this gun. It's stupid.
Interesting.
So I would like to see a reduction on the reload time. 15 seconds is way too much. I'd say give it maybe 10 seconds. The missiles, this is your technical main weapon on this thing. It only has 6 seconds to reload. So you can, as Rob says, you can boost and fire. But honestly, I feel like a good way to buff these missiles is I feel like they stun really fast. Rob, if you let me stun you. Oh, wow. Yeah, that stunned really quick.
Yeah, I think it
That
takes
was like 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
4 missiles. Yeah, that was insane. They break legs insanely quick, too. With 2 shots, I'd probably put a full bar on damage on his legs, right?
Almost 2 bars.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so your missiles are insanely leg-breaking ability. I want them to track your reticle. They're not fast missiles by any means. They're relatively slow, and they kind of scatter a lot, so I'd like to see them track. I would like to see the concussion missiles to be added as a secondary weapon or a sub-weapon for the suit. Those are the AoE, like, constantly exploding missiles. I feel like those should not get tracking, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be too strong. And give this, and keep the speed. I feel like if you give this suit the secondary melee weapon I'm going to talk about, it would be too strong if you make it faster. The hammer gun should be used as a club. Single strike, heavy or instant knockdown. I can't speak today. Roughly 3,000 damage on on any swing. Or it should be, I don't know. How do you think the animations for this would be for a melee?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Honestly, I feel like it should act like the Gundam hammer.
Maybe I kind of feel like keeping it short range for the melee version might be better. Just like
So just use the animations for it then.
Yeah.
Or just keep it close to the suit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that has a pistol grip melee weapon that they could take animations from. Beam bayonet on the Jarja, possibly.
The Jarja and the
bayonet.
what's that? The F90 Lance type general version.
Oh yeah, that could work.
You do thrust and you do the double thrust for the downswing when it's in the overcharge mode. But yeah, I feel like giving a secondary, like, dramatic melee weapon to this suit would be insanely powerful if you make the missiles track, because they do stun very quickly and do very high leg damage. And then you have an instant stagger, variable range hammer gun. You can shoot me, I don't care. Yeah, big, heavy. I mean, even with my high defense build, he did a good chunk of damage to me. That was insane damage. So it's just, you can do so much. Even your melee, you can hit me with melee. you'll do meaty damage. This suit, the all of its weapons hurt. They really do.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's insane damage.
Yeah, I am as always. In case you are new to the series, Salty tends to take in like his best build on his highest level, and I take in a stock suit at the minimum level, just to show the difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, that 2300 against a 500, a fully armored 500 with a 350 suit, I think is pretty good. Yeah.
So like the one problem I do have with it, if you can stop moving,
Oh,
get
sorry.
back up on this platform.
Ah, yeah.
When you hit with a downswing and you try to follow up, a lot of the time you just miss.
Uh-huh.
That needs to change. There's plenty of suits that have sabers, really thin sabers, and they do a downswing and it's just a thrust, and you still hit your downed target. That needs to change. Like I feel like having a big claw, you should still hit down targets with your downswing.
Seriously.
So when you down someone, you have to follow with a neutral, which is not near as strong as your downswing.
Yeah.
But oh wow, we only got 30 seconds already. What do you think, Rob?
Well, if we go over a little bit, that's not a big deal. But yeah, we talked about giving it both of the pursuit programs, both ranged and melee, which I feel like might be a good choice. That would, if they didn't fix the hitbox on the claws on the downswing, that would mean you'd get extra damage out of the neutral that followed up. That would not be a bad choice. The other thing I really want to see is a higher turn speed, because the missiles that you can fire while boosting are basically, they will be a lot easier to hit if you can turn faster as you go. It'll be a lot easier to keep things in your sights. And since this thing's mobility comes entirely under boost speed, I think that would be really valuable. Other thing we were talking about is in the in-game description, it mentions that it can use a cracker, which it does not have. Also, I just feel like it would kind of get tangled up in the claws and be a problem. But yeah, that is an option. Salty was talking about just having a cracker that actually is, animation accurate in terms of how it works. A big core explosion and then each of those nodes on the outside is another, another explosion launching out from that, kind of basically a MIRV grenade. But yeah, those are our thoughts on these, and as always, opinions and suggestions for other suits to cover always welcome, and all the standard YouTube likey, subscribey stuff always. But at any rate, that is going to do it for this week's Buffs We'd Like to See. We will be back soon with more. Till next time, everybody take care and have fun. Later.